Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
All right, go. It's go time. It's Friday night. It's 9 o'clock. It is the Burning River Browns talk. Hey, thank you. Oh, wow. Look at that. We already got our first comment already.
Uh-oh.
So guy, Frito. Frito 4030. Thank you. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Frito.
Hey, what's up? I don't know, Fredo, whatever. Hey, I'm sure other people will comment. Thanks for joining us. It is the Burning River Browns talk here on the Fans First Sports Network, a subsidiary of the Fans First Sports Network, the Fanatical Elves Network, I should say. Thank you. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lou Marconi, L Marconi 251 on Instagram, and L Marconi 1973 on X. Special guest tonight with me, Steve Hemrich.
Yep.
At Hemi44. His show, what night is your show on?
We actually do afternoons. We're Wednesdays at noon. Johnny works second shift with his day job, well, night job, I guess you'd say. So
yeah,
in order to do it live, and I wanted to do it with him, I'm like, okay, let's do it before you go into work. So we do Wednesdays at noon live.
Wednesdays at noon live. So perfect. That's great. All right. It's called The Gleam. It's a part of the Fanatical Elves Network. Yeah,
There's a Gleam.
Is it called There's a Gleam?
There's a Gleam. Remember Marty's infamous?
Yeah.
There's
a
gleam,
you're calling it There's a Gleam. Okay. I thought you were calling it The Gleam. All right.
No.
I thought you were. Okay, no, it's cool. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining us. Well, it's Victory Friday. So we're coming off of a win, a very big win, which I think I said this to Posh last Friday. It was a much needed win. I think the Browns fans needed it, the players needed it, the coaches, the organization. It was nice to be, even though the weather was not fun.
Right.
It was nice to be there. I don't know if you heard, I made a call out to the ladies to show up wearing white T-shirts and no bras.
Did any do that?
No. Nobody listened to me. They looked at me like, no, it's too cold. It was too cold for that. It was like in the 50s. So anyway, but it was, I will say this, on our way there, we walked up to the Barley House and we're supposed to try to find a mutual friend. And I walked in there, it was wall-to-wall people, and music was blaring, and everybody was inside because it was raining. And I'm like, I'm too old for this. Just get me out of here. Just too much going on. I just was like, no thanks. But it was cool. We ended up walking to the game and everything. And I said, like I was saying, the Dolphins fans were pretty cool. I told the story about the lady leaving the game, but there was a guy before the game that was talked about how they were afraid of Myles Garrett, and I said I would be too.
Right.
I said to them, you also have bigger issues. And I had to make the joke. I made a joke. Make jokes.
Surprise,
get out of here. Well, I said I was at the concession stand outside of the 503 there, and I made a joke about I just did my best Bill Murray impression in Caddyshack, saying, well, I'd keep playing. I don't think the heavy stuff will come down for a while yet. The older men that were around laughed.
They got it.
One young lady, she's probably in her early to mid 20s, like had no idea what in the world I was talking about. So,
wow.
Have at it. So there you go.
I heard it was worse. Actually, the worst part was like walking to the game than actually during the game.
Yes.
And I'm a season ticket owner, and I'll be honest, I did not go to the game this past week. I watched our local weather, and they were talking about all this torrential downpour and all this heavy rain. And there's even talk that it could be thunder and lightning. The game would get postponed. And then not to mention the winds, you hear anywhere from consistent 20-plus mile winds to wind gusts up to 50. I'm like, I can't afford to get sick for my day job right now. So I can deal with pretty much everything. Hot, cold, snow, fat people sitting next to me, skinny people sitting next to me. I can't stand rain when it's cold and windy because you're miserable and you're soaked.
Yeah.
That's my one, I guess, kryptonite there.
Yeah, it's okay. No, I really didn't look for anybody when I was there. I stayed as dry as I could, and I enjoyed the game.
Yeah.
Pretty much, it was what I expected. I knew it was a much needed win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was great to be on the other side of one of those when the offense was so bad and turning the ball over. We just capitalized on it. We didn't have to do much offensively
to
win, even though I noticed. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and we'll probably talk about it more. That was one of the big takeaways I took from the game. especially for our team, it was nice to see them capitalize. 4 turnovers, and they got 21 points off turnovers.
Yep.
You know, we've seen games in the past where we'll get some turnovers, but don't really do anything with it. You know, and this time they actually capitalized, and 21 points off there. That was nice.
Yeah, it was nice. I was gonna say there was they were, how can I put it? They were crowding the box
Okay.
and playing the run hard. There was like 8 guys in the box when Judkins was running. So I said, okay, they're playing the run hard. But then he broke off a couple big runs, including the 46-yard touchdown run. Actually, the play before that touchdown run, an interception got called back due to a pass interference penalty.
Right.
So, and then the next play we scored a touchdown. So I felt at that point when we scored that touchdown, I thought we were going to win.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even worried. I said, okay, we got this.
Yeah.
I just said, okay, we're going to win this game, but I just want to I don't want to hear about us not scoring 20 points anymore. I didn't want to fucking hear about that anymore. I just was done with that. So I'm glad that happened. I'm glad we got the turnovers, and Miami is a mess now. They are.
I mean, I'm not a huge Tua fan. I didn't think much of him coming out of college. To his credit, he's had a little bit better. When healthy, he's had a pretty decent career when healthy, but and again, I don't see a lot of Miami games, but that was by far the games I have seen with him. That was by far the worst I've seen Tua look in a game. I mean, we had a quarterback rating of 24.1, 3 interceptions. Did you see the video after that last interception of Tua? They had Mike McDaniel on the sideline, and he was doing this motion like this, like you're going to the bench. I don't know if it's 100% true. You can't always believe everything you see, but they had it timed perfect with the last pick, him coming off the field. And then, shortly after that series, that last one, they did pull him for Quinn Ewers or however you say it. But I don't think I've ever seen him look that bad. I mean,
no, the Dolphins were playing like they didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
While the Browns, I mean, they played like they were a team that was angry.
Well,
go ahead.
You could see with the defense, they see that offense score some points, put some points on them, and all of a sudden they get a little bit extra pep in that stuff. Because they generally start off pretty good in games, but I think sometimes common nature, if your offense isn't doing nothing, you're like, damn, we're holding here and you guys can't do a thing. Yeah. And then, this was nice that they saw the opposite. And, you saw the guys, I mean, 2 people that were very outspoken. Miles was, the comment he made about the fans and, players caring more, that didn't really go over too well with a lot of fans. Remember that comment?
Yeah.
It was nice to see him step up and have a sack in that game. And then Grant Delpit, I thought, was phenomenal.
I think Miles's comments lit a fire.
Yeah.
And I guess I heard Stefanski tore into the team too, but you don't see that on the sideline. You don't see that on public. Maybe behind closed doors, he'll do that.
Right.
So, yeah. Look. Let me. It was a great win, very positive, and of course, as the week progresses, it seems like the nature of the business that we're in, people need to try to create content and create engagement. And I'm going to if you want to say I'm pointing the finger and accusing people of doing this, go ahead. Fine. I don't. You can label me whatever you want. I'm not going to do this. What I'm talking about is people being outraged over who's getting practice reps.
Yeah.
At quarterback. Who's our starting quarterback? Do you want to answer that question?
Gabriel.
Dylan Gabriel. Okay. Who's getting the first team reps?
Gabriel.
Dylan Gabriel. Do you care if a 5th round rookie gets them or not?
No, if his name wasn't Shedeur Sanders, this wouldn't be an issue right now here in Cleveland. Everybody talking about Gabriel, and I mean, this was your 3rd round pick. He was picked 2 rounds ahead of him. He is getting second team reps. And somebody else, I heard on one of the shows, it's pretty common. I mean, backup quarterbacks get the reps with the second team units. They don't, I'll slightly listen to an argument. Well, he's a rookie and he's got to get, but so is Gabriel. I mean, if that's who you believe your starter is right now, that kid needs every rep. It's not like it's Joe Flacco who's got, 20 years in the league and, hey, take a light practice today. We're going to let the young kid get reps. This kid needs it just as much as Sanders. So it's not like he's not getting any reps at all. He's second team and he's getting second team reps. So they're preparing him. So it's just like I said, if it wasn't anybody else but Sanders, if they were taken, you wouldn't hear squat about it.
No, if his last name was Smith or Wilson or
Mm-hmm.
Johnson or whatever, you wouldn't be hearing it. It's because of who his dad is, and he came with all this hype and all this stuff. He was a fifth round pick. They took a flyer on him. He's a project. It's developmental. They're taking their time with him because if he goes out there and he gets rushed to play and he doesn't do well and he struggles and he probably, I'm going to say this word because it's actually the right use of the word, retards his development.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which means slows down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, slows down his development. I could see all the comments. Well, why do we rush him?
Yeah.
It's like, you know,
When I think you're going to see, I already see it, and I do hope we get to see him at some point. I'm curious.
I think we will, but
I do
not,
too.
Yeah, not right now.
But I think that'll be, you mark my words. You
Right.
made a prediction last week about, if the Browns win people in draft picks. You mark my words. If he goes out, if God forbid, Gabriel gets hurt at some point, Sanders goes in and struggles, the excuse is going to be, well, he didn't get any first team reps.
Yeah.
So of course, you set him up to fail. He looked terrible because he didn't.
Yeah.
That's
what's that guy's name? The guy that screams in the camera on ESPN. What the hell's his name? I forgot his name because he was complaining about the gambling stuff, the NBA scandal, and all that. And the NFL put out a statement. Tom Pelissero tweeted it.
Mm-hmm.
That the NFL put out a statement. I said, "Great, now fix your officiating."
I saw that.
People liked it. People were like, "Yeah, there you go." Because I think if anybody can screw up a game and anybody can rig a game, it's those guys.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely, especially in the NFL. Oh, pass interference. We're like, well, I didn't see. I mean, how many times have you seen calls and we're like, huh? We're like, really? So we've seen it.
Yep.
Trust me, we've seen it. There's times we've been suspicious at games. So trust me.
Oh, Browns fans are no stranger to the
Biased
referees
officiating?
and bias towards from refs and stuff for sure.
Yeah, but I said Mark Marvis because there was somebody commenting in Bearded Browns Talk podcast people, the friends of mine, pounce back on them, say, look, we're trying to win games because the guys are complaining now we're not. Now the Jets are going to get the first pick, or now the Dolphins are going to get a higher pick than us. They said, shut up, we're trying to win games. We're not. Don't worry about draft position. If you're playing for draft position at week 8, you're not going to have a job by week 17.
No, and that's nuts. I mean, I've been guilty of that sometimes in the past, but later in the season with a couple games left, it's like, what was the point of that? I mean,
yeah.
But I mean, I'm trying to. You look at it right now. We're 7 weeks into it, and if nothing, John and I were talking about it, it's a little frustrating because you see since he struck with their struggles with Burrow being hurt, and who saw Baltimore getting off to a 1-5 start and being as bad, it's all because they don't have Lamar.
I think Lamar's back this week, but
I saw today he was practicing on a limited basis, so he is starting to practice again. And you see those two teams down, it's like, man, I truly believe we have talent on this team. It's not like from in 99 or 2000 when we didn't really have much talent and we had no depth whatsoever.
2016 or 2017.
Yeah, there's a lot of years you could point back to, but it's like, man, this division's there for the taking. If we could just get our shit together, it's there. We have a legit shot. So, I was looking at it with John. It's Pittsburgh's 4-2 since he's 3-4, and we're 2-5. 7
games. They play the Packers, the Colts, and the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Pittsburgh's hit their gauntlet of teams yet. They've had a pretty relatively easier schedule than we have. So, and prior to this upcoming game, we had the second easiest schedule remaining. So, you're 2 games back basically, or 2.5. However, they're
and we're about that. We're pretty healthy too because I saw the injury report. Basically, Aiden Hutchinson's questionable with concussion protocol, and David Njoku in his knee is questionable. So
the big one I saw was Mike Hall's been a full participant, I think, all week.
He's back. He's playing. He's playing.
I'm dying to see what he looks like.
Jack Conklin's starting too. So you got your starting tackles. You got Robinson and Conklin, which is going to help too.
Sure.
But, I mean, I will say this about the Patriots: the Vrabel's got this team playing good, but things can happen. Anything. I saw them beat Buffalo in Buffalo. That was probably the most impressive win I saw them do.
Well, I agree. I agree.
Go ahead, you're about to say.
Well, no, I was just saying, talking with John, you know, early on when we looked at the schedule, originally I thought, oh, New England very well could be a winnable game. Then you see what they, did. They're 5-2 right now at top of their division. You're like, whoa, okay. But as I was telling John, we talked on our show, for me, New England's unpredictable because which team's going to show up? Is it the team that lost to the Raiders 20-13, or is it that team that beat the Bills 23-20? You look at a couple of their games, you're like, you lost to them, really?
Yeah.
So
The Raiders looked awful against the Chiefs.
Yeah,
they benched Geno Smith for Kenny Pickett.
Right.
And they only had 3 first downs in that game.
Well, I'm surprised it took that long. I mean, Geno's been terrible pretty much the whole year. So, but I mean, New England loses to a team like that, and then they, beat the Bills, which I don't think anybody had that, happening. So, I'm curious to see which team. I do agree. I think Vrabel, his teams are well coached. They got talent. I mean, you look at that offensive side. Drake May's playing. Yeah, he's playing really phenomenal. Mm-hmm. So they got some players on defense. It's going to be a good game.
It's going to be interesting with the matchups and everything and see what we do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just interesting how I'm thinking like we look good, we won. Yeah, offensively. Well, you saw when we were talking about the weather before the game. We knew it wasn't going to be a pass happy offense. It was going to be run the ball. Quinshaw Junkins big day, which he did. He had 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
He had a great game, and we just kind of knew it was going to be that type of game. And they were like, well, why did Dylan Gabriel throw down the field? It's like, well, he didn't have to.
No, he did. Actually, I said something to Jen. I finally saw him throw a ball. I could have swore it was for 20 plus yards down the field because, I mean, I've kind of knocked it too. I really haven't seen him throw the ball down the field much. A lot of it's been very short. Yeah. But I do remember left sideline, him going down, it wasn't a deep one, but a little bit down. But I was just happy to death that
it was incomplete, but he did go for it. Yeah.
But it was nice to see him like, come on, stretch it a little. I was just happy we didn't throw 50 times because, that's been kind of a knock. Sometimes it's the fans.
We didn't need to. Yeah. See, the Dolphins had to throw the ball because they were behind by so much, and it just got worse. That's when the wheels come off, especially with our pass rush and our defense and just the turnovers. I remember when they put Delpit on that blitz on the goal on their end of the field, and who got the interception? Took it all the way down to the 2.
Was that Jenkins or was it Hickman? Jenkins. Okay, I think it was Jenkins.
Hickman got a different interception, and that was a different one. But I was going to say this too. It's like everybody loves the color rush uniforms. It's, because we're 2-0 with them,
right?
Not the color rush, the Alpha Dog. I'm sorry, Alpha Dog.
They look like the color rush though, kind of. But
kind of do.
Well, and how about Andrew Berry's taken a beating, I think, with some of his moves. This draft class, I was telling Johnny, this draft class, I mean, I'll say it again, it looks like a home run, and not just the draft, not just the drafted guys. We all know the drafted guys, but you look at some of the guys the undrafted guys. And he was quiet last game, but prior to that, he was starting to come on. He was getting more balls thrown to him. I mean, most people had him as a 2nd or 3rd round draft pick. He's had some decent games, and I expect him to get better. But Larvidan's made an impact, and Huntington, he's been. I can't believe he was not drafted after watching him from preseason through now that he didn't even get drafted.
He was making plays left and right, and I love it when they line him up as a fullback.
Right, how many times do you see a defensive lineman on special teams going down and making tackles and stuff?
Right.
Because he's been on special teams, and then the other one was Donovan McMillan. He's the other one that had a pick. One of the 3 picks last week. I mean, those are 4 undrafted guys. Not to mention, we know the rookie class that we've drafted. Hats off to him, man. I mean, it's been great.
We're getting production out of every player that we drafted except for Shedeur.
Yeah. Right now. And that's just because he's he hasn't gotten a play.
He's the last pick. He was the last pick of that draft. He was
right. It's not like that he's bad or anything. So yeah, I mean. Very impressive. It's it's given me a little bit of hope here. With some
little bit.
It's just I get frustrated. You're definitely more positive.
I'm more positive. I'm more optimistic than a lot of people.
And I know you're saying about the 20-point, but I'm like the opposite. Like some of those losses, I look at it. It's like, you know what? And I think why I'm more like this now is because I truly believe we have talent. I do think Stefanski overall I think we have good coaches. there's been years past where I'm like, we got some of the dumbest coaches I've ever seen, or we just don't have the talent, or we don't have the depth. Hey, we get a couple of injuries, we're done because everybody after the starters. But we have that. And so when you lose a game to Minnesota where I'm like, we should have won that game, it pisses me off. It's like, I'm tired of this. What's that?
I'll speak about that game. I'll just on the if that game was in Cleveland instead of London and they came to play us there, that team wouldn't have ran out of gas in the fourth quarter. They flew 6-hour time difference. It screws up your body. Then they had to come back and then go play in Pittsburgh the next week while Pittsburgh was coming off their bye week.
Right.
I mean, I saw that gauntlet. I was like, this isn't good.
No.
And they were already out there for 2 weeks.
But I think that's the other thing that always frustrates me. It's like, we knew the first 6 games. When you saw that schedule, you're like, oh boy. I mean, that's a brutal for anybody. But you had 2 very, very winnable and probably should have won games with that Cincy and Mini. And it's like, that's what gets you pissed off. You're like, man, we should have 3 wins. We should be a game behind Pittsburgh right now. Mm-hmm. And they're lucky. For what I've seen of Pittsburgh, they've been pretty healthy. I don't know if really
they got some injuries. Baltimore got ravaged.
Oh, Baltimore, yep. Yeah. And Cincy, with they're a different team without Burrow. We knew that.
We're relatively healthy now, and we're going into our bye week, which is knocking on wood, which is good.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Another thing, I want to bring this up before we talk more about the New England game. But before that, I want to talk about did you as a season ticket holder, we're both season ticket holders. Did you get a survey this week from the team?
Boy, did I.
Okay, good. We'll talk about that. Let's talk about it. But before we do that, let's take a break and get pause for a word from our sponsors. How about them sponsors? Thank you. Also, check out the sponsor of the show. Click on the link of the show for Hemisphere Coffee Roasters. Click on the link, order up some coffee. You got to tell them Lou sent you. All right. You want to go first?
About the
survey. Did you fill out the survey first?
Oh, I did. I did.
What did you? I'll tell you what I said. I checked the seats that I would do it. I told them this. I flat out said I would not pay a PSL, and I told them where I sit now, for the seats that I have, I do not pay a PSL at Huntington Bank Field.
Oh, you don't?
I should not have to pay it when I go to the new stadium for the similar type of seats.
Okay.
That's what I said. I said I should not. I told them that. I think. This is what I think their mindset or their thinking is they're asking the fans. They're trying to gauge what they should and should not do because they know they have to be careful.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think I about had a heart attack when I saw it. So to let people know that didn't, they did a survey, asked you some general questions, and then they started to talk about pricing and stuff, and they gave you 10 scenarios, and it was, here's 5 different plans. Pick one. If these are the only plans available to you, pick one. And then you did have an option for none of these.
Yep.
I ain't going to lie. I screenshot it because I wanted to write this down later for our show next week. I'm like, some of them, now granted, you're talking premium, the best of the best seats. Did you see some of those PSLs? 115,000.
Yes. I was like, no way in hell.
Even they have I think it's going to be in the dog pound or one.
My last name's not Trump. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I mean, there's some for 48. I mean, even like where we would sit, those were a little bit more reasonable, and I expected to go up. But I saw some for 6,600, and then the best was they offered you, if you had 3 options, you could
I saw that one.
There was 3 finance things. One, paid in I think within 3 payments or something, no interest. Do one for like a year or so many years at like 8%. I'm like, what? And then one was even longer with 8%. I'm like, holy no.
Yeah.
So many of them, of the 10 different ones, there were men I'm like, I'm not taking. Because even like the standing room, it might be, and again, these aren't set in stone. These are, just they were throwing some stuff out. I think they have standing room only, what do they call it? Safe standing. So it looks like it's in one of the end zones. It looks like, picture the back of a seat, but no seat to sit on. And it's the safe standing area. Those were like $2,000 or something like that. To stand at the game. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm sitting.
So there were a couple that weren't too bad, but I kind of did what you did, and I kind of took a picture of it on my phone.
I didn't take any screenshots. I just did it. I picked the seats that I probably would take.
Yeah, and there were a few I did. I'm like, okay, that's not unreasonable. You know, I know it's going to be up there a couple hundred.
I think maybe the PSLs they were talking about for that were like $600 maybe.
Some of them were like seven. Like if you were in the corners, it was what you would expect. It was like a $600-700 PSL. Tickets were about, I forget what they were, 1,000 or 1,700
for season tickets, which is pretty much where we're at.
Yeah,
for 10 games.
So it wasn't too bad, but I did put now. I got my tickets in 07. There were the PSLs in my section where I'm at. They were originally $1,125. When John and I got ours, we paid $650 because back then people were selling the PSLs if you wanted to get the tickets. Now you can try, but some people, there's supposed to be a benefit with the Browns. I asked them, I'm like, what, if I tried to sell mine, what's the, you get some rights like, an event comes at a concert, you get first dibs and you get the status. But I did
if it's a WrestleMania or something.
Yeah,
like that.
You get priority. So I did put a comment on there, and I can't. It's so small, but it basically to the extent I'd like to know that if you already are a season ticket holder who paid for a one-time PSL, why do we have to pay for another one? At the very least, why wouldn't we at least get a discount of some type? Because we did. For those that have been since they came back, you paid that one-time PSL.
It's almost like you're grandfathered in at that point. They should grandfather you in.
Yeah,
which makes sense. I never paid a PSL. Where I sit, I'm way up. I'm basically 5 rows from the top. I'm covered. I'm in section 503.
Okay.
So I don't pay PSLs. I don't.
Okay. I know they don't do it anymore, since they changed a few years back, but.
Yeah. And I talked to my wife about this. I kind of showed it to her because I said the plan with Harvey and I, we're going to continue to do it. We're going to go at least one more season into the new stadium. Mm-hmm. We'll see how it goes. And I even told him, I said, maybe I'll just take over them, and I'll take my kids once in a while, or I'll take my wife, and I'll just take whoever I want. If you don't want to do it anymore, maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. That's 4 years down the road.
Yeah.
We'll see how things go. But he said that.
Where we're at, because we're both in the 500 level. I'm a little lower. I'm in 511, but we're like row 7, which is really like row 2 because the first what's that?
Real quick, a Cavs score update. At the end of 3 quarters, Cleveland Cavaliers 108, New Jersey Nets 86.
Whoa, blowout, huh?
We're blowout by 22 so far. We're still a
well,
quarter
tonight it's Friday, so at 8 o'clock the World Series kicked off.
Yeah, let me take a look. I get a score for that too.
But
go ahead. World Series. I'll pull it up. Give me 1 second. I know. Oh, Dodgers are up 2-0 in the middle of 4 innings.
That's a shocker.
Yeah, but go ahead.
No, I forgot what I was saying. Lost my train of thought. I was Cavs. That score is pretty, and they're still without two starters. Garland didn't play tonight, and I think Hunter's still out, if I'm not mistaken.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I know Garland. I think he'll be back I think both of them are going to be back pretty. I don't know if Hunter's playing. He wasn't in the starting lineup. The rookie from last year, Tyson, got to start, and then Sam Merrill was for Garland.
Sam Merrill's starting, yes.
Yeah. He looked pretty good. I mean, they played the Knicks tough, the opener.
Yeah, Hunter, the Max Strus, Darius Garland, and Hunter are not playing. They're all 3 are listed as on the injury report.
Yep, and depending on who Strus, I don't know, Strus will be a starter this year, or no, if he's coming off the bench.
I'm not sure. It might depend on the game and who we play.
Yeah, either him or Hunter's probably the 6th man, and then Garland's definitely a starter. So I mean, they're down a couple pieces. So the Cavs will be all right.
Yeah, they're going to be fine. I'm not too worried about it. Even though they lost their opener, it's fine.
Right.
It's fine.
But no. Oh, that's what I was saying. So I'm in the 500 level too. We're a little bit lower. We're row 7, but if in that upper deck, the first 5 rows are what's over that overhang right there, and then you got to turn and go up the steps to walk up like you. We're technically the second row when you turn and start walking up the stairs. So, but it's really 7, but I call it 2.
You're at 5'10", right?
5'11". So we're closer to the dog pound, but we're about at the 20-yard line ish. So. And again, nothing was set in stone by any means. Stuff can change, but they were preliminary stuff, what they're throwing out. Tickets up there were still pretty reasonable. You're looking at about $1,700 to $2,000-something hundred, but some of them, like I said, I saw some of the prices. Yes, they would include all you can eat,
some of those club seats. Yeah, and also, too, I remember when that story came out about a $200 average price for tickets and people were flipping out. Right now, we're at about $175 with club seats. So, guys, you're talking 4 years from now. Ticket prices on average going up $25 a game.
Right.
That's par for the course. That would still
Well,
keep us in the lower end of the NFL.
and that average is so skewed because you look at a club seat, they're about $300, but you can sit in the upper deck corners, and they're about $50.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
They may have gone up a few more dollars, but those have always been the lowest.
My wife calls me thrifty. She doesn't call me cheap. So, well, no, if you have to budget to go to games, budget. I mean, I just said it doesn't make sense for me to pay $100 to park downtown.
Yeah.
I take the Rapid. I just
Right.
I pay the $5. I park it at the. I'm not gonna tell you where I park my truck, but I park it at the Rapid station. I go there. I park my truck, and then I go, and then I go downtown. I can eat. I can eat somewhere in Tower City.
You can stop by a friend's tailgate and snag a sausage or something, or
Whatever. Yeah, I mooch off of people's tailgates and I eat fine. That's what I do. But seriously, no. I mean, you could go there, and I don't drink. I'm not a drinker. Once in a while, I'll have a beer at a game, or at an event there, like I did at the Journey concert. But I mean, yeah, but there's people that would spend a ton of money when they go to these games, and they spend a ton of money to tailgate.
well, so many people don't realize you can bring food into that stadium. Now, remember, you got to have that clear bag, 12 by 12, or
Yeah, you can
whatever
bring
it
snacks.
is.
You can bring
But
snacks.
you can
have
bring.
like a Ziploc bag full of Cheez-Its or something. You can bring
I've brought a sub sandwich in there. You can't bring liquid.
no.
Although I heard somebody
Snuck in a bottle of water.
took a sub wrapper and put a bottle of water in and be like, yeah, it's a sub. But you can bring food. See, where it's misleading, because it's expensive. Let's be honest. It ain't cheap to go to sporting events like it was growing up.
Even when we were growing up, to us it was expensive then. How much the food cost?
Yeah,
it was
I mean, I
ridiculous.
remember I've had season tickets to both the Cavs and Indians at the time, and for me, the Browns always get me because I pay for these ahead of time. So once the season starts, the tickets are paid for. So I'm like, oh, it's free. But then you go down there and it's $50-$60 minimum to park in most places, unless you go way down somewhere, a hour walk. At the game, the concessions are expensive. I mean, a hot dog's about $6, $6.50 for a hot dog. Stuff ain't cheap. That's why we'll tailgate. I don't really drink at the games. We drink during our tailgate, and it just depends weather and how I feel, how much I'll drink. Sometimes I'll have a beer or two. Other times, I'll do some more. And, once in a while, if it's a real hot day, I'm not a huge pop drinker, but sometimes if it's just really hot, I'm like, I got to get something to drink. And every so often I'll sneak a hot dog because there's not, I love to have a good old fashioned hot dog at a game. So, but
I've done that. Like I think I had a cheeseburger. I had one of those when I went to the last game. They had the fries and the double cheeseburger, and I had it with a drink.
Oh, yeah.
It was like $20 for all that, and I'm like, that's not too bad actually.
yeah,
in
it's
the
not
stadium.
terrible.
No.
It got a little better. And that's the other thing. One of the comments I added, I'm like, for years, you've been up in that 500 level. The concessions up there have been nothing like the lower level.
Yeah,
They're-
it's gotten better based on feedback from fans. It's
yeah,
gotten
I'm
better.
like, I would hope, the 500 people are no different. They're fans too. Don't treat them like, garbage. So, put a few things up there for us to enjoy too. So, and it has gotten better. They've done that. And this year they did a new kind of like serve and go yourself,
Yeah. That's
which
what
I
did.
love because I'll be honest, there's some fine concession stands at that stadium. And I know a lot of them, it used to be, they were volunteers. They were fundraisers. They'd get a group from somewhere that would run that concession stand. And I don't know the exact details, but whatever organization, they somehow made money by their group running that. And sometimes I'd be there for 5 minutes. I'm like, I just ordered a hot dog. They're right there on the rack. All you got to do is turn and grab it. Well, what's taking so long? And now they got that whole self-serve where everything's there. You walk, you
And
grab,
then
and
will help you at the kiosk to check out.
And I don't know if you took advantage of this, but when you enter the game, there's the face recognition. Did you ever sign up for that?
No, I did not.
That is phenomenal. I walk right up to the thing. You don't even have to show your tickets anywhere, nothing. It scans your face. It says Steve Hemrich and enter. It knows your seat. So
The
it's
government
pretty
is
easy to
tracking you, Steve. The
Well,
government
that's-
is tracking you.
right? But they also have it for pay. So you could go to a thing, scan your face. You've got your credit card stored with them. And once you've scanned your face and scanned your food, you don't even have to pull out the credit card. I didn't sign up for that yet. But anyway, so they've
I use my phone. I do the
Mhm.
Apple, not the Apple Pay, but I could tap it, tap it with my phone and it pays. I do that. But I
okay.
also I don't even take my wallet with me. I might have a little bit of cash. Then
Well,
if
they
I do
don't.
the
I think
phone
that
pay, so
if
my
I'm not
ID.
mistaken, that stadium is totally cashless now.
It is cashless, but I always bring some like a $5 bill with me in case if I need it. But I always do that. But
Yeah,
I was gonna say, you could go to the game and you could budget your money and go to a game. You can. I mean, like I said, if you can't afford to go or if you don't want to pay the prices, then nope, you don't have to. It's America. You don't have to
right.
do it. So for the people like I said, we're in that engagement farming era where people like as soon as I saw that survey the very next day, Cleveland.com front page survey said this much for PSLs, which
Yeah,
yes, but it depends on the seats. There's other. It's there. I think they were surveying us to see, okay, what's the buzz from the fans? What's the feedback from the fans?
right.
What can we do? I
And
think that's what they're doing.
so what I read too, other things I took away from that was if you're a season ticket holder, you're already going to be kind of entered with first dibs on everything,
Yeah,
and you're all set. So if people that aren't, if they want to, you can sign up now for like to join, so that when they do start making. And if I read that correctly, I think the hope is they. I'm 90% sure it's somewhere during that where I read that in 2026 they may start having plans available of what it would cost. So you might see it as early as next year, which I thought I was a little surprised. Like, how can they really?
yeah, I think so, but it might. I don't know. That's just as early as I think.
Yeah,
I
and that
think it
might
might
be for.
not be till 27 or 28. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
thought it was way early, and I don't know if maybe it's some of the. Hey, if you're getting
Yeah,
into some of those premium suites or something, lock in now at this, and something.
yeah,
But there could be something as early as next year with them.
yeah. Well, also too, I think there's people complaining about the $100 million deal the Haslam's are giving the city to leave, and it's like, well, it's not enough. Let's
Did
just,
you see the city council?
yeah,
I saw in the news. I think it was Polensky, who I can't. Is he,
Polanisak or whatever his name is. Yeah,
he's like, we're they're gonna move, and we're gonna be left with nothing. It's like, but you got 100 million too. They're tearing down the stadium. I mean,
you can redevelop that land.
yeah, he's making it sound like we're left high and dry with nothing. And
No, no. He's leaving. He's helping you. Yeah, here. I'll help you.
right,
He's working with the city. He's looking at a regional thing, and Mayor Bibb even said, "Look, he leveraged what he could to get what he could,
right.
which was smart. I don't blame him for doing that. I would have done the same thing in his position.
Oh, you have to. At some point, you see, hey, they're going one with whether we like it or not. We got to.
Yeah,
He had to save face and do something.
and he said, look, you don't get everything you want sometimes, but you get what you can, and he did. He got something. Now let's see what they do with that money, what they do with that land. That's the thing.
Well, even more frustrating than the Browns these last since '99. I'm so sick and tired of hearing for how many different mayors have we heard about we're going to develop the lakefront. We're going to, and nobody really has come
Nobody's
through
done
with it.
anything. Yeah,
I have. You talk to anybody that's not from here that visits, and my old mentor from my the job I was at to get into the career I'm in. He's from Chicago, and I remember
oh yeah.
talking to him. This is
Their
back in the early
waterfront's
two.
amazing. I heard
What's that?
their waterfront is amazing
Oh
compared to
yeah,
ours.
this is early 2000. I'm like, hey, Jason, what do you think of Cleveland? He's like, oh, it's a great city, this and that, very affordable. He's like, but the one thing you guys do is you piss away your waterfront. He's born and raised in Chicago, and I finally went to Chicago in 2009 or 10. I had a dream of. There's always been a few baseball places I've always wanted to see a game at. Something about a ballpark, the
Wrigley
nostalgia.
Field or Comiskey?
Wrigley Field it was Yankee
Yeah.
Stadium before it got torn down and the new one's up. Fenway Park in Boston and Wrigley. Those were three. I'm like, I would love to see because
Nice.
I'm a big baseball fan or was.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Go ahead.
I went there and to see Navy Pier, to see the whole Chicago skyline, their river that goes all around. Navy Pier is phenomenal. Their waterfront is amazing, and I'm like, wow, he's right. And everybody. Let's be honest. I think everybody would love the Browns to stay in Cleveland.
And on the lakefront, we would love it. I would love it too.
Well, I don't care about the lakefront. I actually would. I'm glad they're not. I wish we would develop that into something that it should be. I mean, there's only so many cities in this country that have waterfront property and the east side especially. Now the west side, I'm an appraiser, so I'm out that way a lot. There's mostly homes along the west
And
side.
apartments and stuff.
Yeah,
like Lakewood and Edgewater area.
Yeah, but I mean, you come from that Burke Airport up to Euclid. There's you got a whale, the water plant thing there with the whale. I mean, there's so much wasted stuff there. It could be prime developed for prime. So I hope that the city finally follows through, and maybe this mayor will finally put together a plan and develop that waterfront into something amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's still in the same county. And I've said this before. People are like, "Oh, Cleveland's going to suffer; they're going to die." Well, 30 years ago, downtown Cleveland didn't have the residents it does today. I worked back when the Ritz-Carlton first opened in 91 or 2. I was a part of the opening crew to get that hotel. Dude, that was awesome. I was a bellman and a valet. I'd check people in. I'd do the bands. I met celebrities, parked their cars, and whatnot. That was a great time. But I thought about moving down there back in that point, and it was a ghost. Come 5, 6 o'clock when businesses, the corporate world shut down, Cleveland shut down. There are so many people that live down there full time. Last I knew, it's about 100% occupied. There's still buildings and converting spaces into condos, and they're thriving down there with residents that live down there. It's not like, all we got are the Browns.
Like it was in '95 when the Browns.
No, and that's what frustrates me. Nobody talks about it. Like there's so many, and you even go down there. There's bars, there's the casino, there's things still open at night, and at 6 o'clock, it's not like everything shuts down and it goes dark. It's, and it will hurt, 10 times out of the year or whatever for that. But you've talked about it. It's not like you can't do something there, hop on the rapid and head down or whatever. So whatever.
I think too, depending on what they do with that land, it all depends on what events we attract here and what they do with that land.
Yep,
that's really what it is. So the ball's in the city of Cleveland's court. They've been talking. All they've done is talk. They're hot air. They're bloviators. They talk. They don't do anything, and they're dealing with a bunch of bureaucratic idiots that don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. I've been saying it for months.
Tell me how you really feel.
I will tell you. I tell Chris Ronan, I said, "You're a fucking retard." All right.
Wow.
I would just say that to him. I said, "Yeah, well, they could use Burke, and when will Burke be open? Well, maybe in 15 years." I said, "Well, you're gonna base a business decision on your most valuable asset on something that might happen 15 years down the road. Seriously?
Yep.
While you're standing on a stadium with a foundation that's fallen apart, that's almost 100 years old. You want to do that?
Did you see? No, I agree. Did you see? Bibb filed something with the government
about Burke. Yeah, they're trying to get rid of it as quick as possible.
That is such a stupid airport. Let's be honest. I mean, you got Cuyahoga County Airport right there. Hopkins is right down, and there's another one on the west. There's 2 or 3 airports within a quick distance. Again, that should be torn down. That should all be developed into something spectacular. You got a beautiful waterfront. That's our prized asset in this city. Capitalize on it. Yep. So hopefully they will.
116-106 Cavs with 7:15 left in the fourth. Looks like the Nets made a run there.
Wow, I was going to say.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. All right, but no. Continuing on with that, I think when I said the engagement farm and the people talk about the stadium, they try to generate reaction to get people to comment, to get people to click, to get people to do that. Just like with the Shedeur Sanders stuff, we just had probably the biggest win of this season. What was probably most needed this season. A lot of positive could have came out of this, but they got to find something to complain about.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that bothers me. When people find that's what's the best word? Pedantic. Okay, people are being that pedantic. They're just nitpicking right now. Yeah. Okay. Dylan Gabriel was actually they slated him as an early 4th round pick. They took him late in the 3rd because after that trade with Jacksonville, they knew he wasn't going to be there late in the 4th round. They took him when they took him for that reason. Okay? He's a young quarterback. He's developing. So is Shedeur. He played a lot more college football against a lot better competition than Shedeur did.
Right.
He's farther along than Shedeur. Okay? So let's just take a pill, relax. Who gives a shit who gets the first team reps? I want to see the team win. That's it. Okay?
Yep.
I'm not going to sit there because I tell you what, these guys that are coaching, they've been coaching football their whole lives. I've never coached a organized football team. I played it as high as the high school level. I don't know more than they do. I don't. I don't know if people like G. Bush does. I don't know if anybody like Tony Rizzo does or all these other ones. G. Bush played college football.
Did he?
So,
Okay.
yeah, I want to say it was at a MAC school. I'm trying to think which one it was.
Okay.
Yeah, I know he did. Okay, 118, 111, and 606. Jeez. I'm trying to make it a game's getting interesting, huh?
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to turn this off before it gets me angry. Let me just see. I'm going to look it up right now.
Yeah, I didn't know he played college ball.
He sacked. But it was at a MAC school, but it wasn't Miami because he.
Kent, Akron, Ohio U, Buffalo, Central Michigan. I'm gonna miss a couple. I always wanted to put on my resume. I played a lot of.
He played at OU.
Okay, I always wanted to put on my resume that I was the head coach of Notre Dame. And then somebody, if I went in for a job interview, but they'd be like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, I was 11 and 12-year-old city league, but I was the head coach for Notre Dame." See if anybody catch it first. Like, oh, holy cow!
I did. Well, I did. Well, if you want to say I was a pro wrestler and I wrestled, I did that as a professional athlete.
What were you? Was it NRA, NWA? What were you?
NWA, national champion. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I knew.
Yeah.
And did you ever do? I'm not a huge wrestling guy. I watched some as a kid. I know the big names, Hogan and all those guys, but WWE, where you ever got to? Is that like?
It was WWF when I was there. I had a 4-year run with them. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you did? So you were in the WWF.
Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of like the other ones? Are they different?
Promotions, just different promotions, different companies.
It's not like a minor league for the WWF or anything, or to a point?
Well, you could say that they're not as big as that. But
okay.
You could say if you get to the major, yeah. But I say the most prestigious title in wrestling-wise was the NWA national title. It's the highest level I ever got to, and I was #1 contender for the NWA world title.
Nice.
So, yeah, I was. I have a picture framed because I was #1 contender at the time. There was going to be a match between me and the world champion, Rob Conway, and the NWA president's holding the belt. I'll hold it here. I'll get it for you.
I think I saw that before you took.
Yeah. This was in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And that's me. Well, that's Rob Conway. That's Bruce Tharp, and that's me, and that's the NWA world title. That was done in Vegas.
And that fell apart, or did it actually take place?
It didn't take place. No, it was supposed to happen, and then something happened, and I just was like, all right. I mean, he got hurt too. It was supposed to happen. There was rumors. I found out later after I kind of left the business that I could have had a run with the world title, but I was so beat up, and I just had a baby, and I didn't want to travel.
How old were you when you retired?
43.
Okay.
42. Yeah, it was 42. It was like 10 years ago.
Okay.
It was right before my daughter was born. It was like Christine got through the first trimester. I said, okay. I dropped the national belt. I just asked for time off. I need some time off. Plus I needed to heal up. I was banged up. I had a torn groin, and I dropped the national belt in Nashville, Tennessee. And then I kind of, when the baby was born, I was like, yeah, I don't want to go back.
No.
That's pretty much what happened. I was like, no, I don't want to leave.
43 is pretty impressive because that's I don't care if it's real or not or whatever you want to call it. It's physical.
It's physical. It's a work.
Yeah.
It's a work. That's all. It's you don't say the term necessarily because there's times a guy's supposed to miss you and he doesn't. It happens. Right. So it's like it's. Yeah, I don't like to use the word fake because it's not because there's times I really got hit.
Scripted maybe or something. I don't know the right word, but
we say work meaning predetermined. We're working together out there. We're trying to put on a good show.
I got you.
It's a show. It's a show. Yeah, people know that. I'm not going to sit there and try to. Oh, fake. No, I'm not going to do. I'm not going to insult you. I'm not going to insult people. But the thing is, when you have a belt put on you, yeah, well, it's not a real sport. But I'll explain this. It's still an accomplishment because the promoters have to trust you.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to trust that you're going to be at your dates, you're going to represent the company well, and you're not going to do anything stupid, and you're going to put on a good match. They're trusting you with their business. So
I mean, you're a professional wrestler. Wrestling is a sport, so whether, like you said, entertainment, whatever, it's still.
Oh, I get respect for it. I don't mind that at all.
Hey,
I tried out for the Cleveland Gladiators.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
I did. That was 2008. That was 17 years ago. I
Wow.
did really good on the bench press, but then when they saw me run, they laughed.
Yeah.
Which is, but the whole thing, the whole point I was trying to make was, I'm not going to come on this show or any show and try to get an engagement with people. I'm just going to give content. I'm going to give commentary. I'm going to give what I really think and what I feel. I'm not just going to say stuff. And I'm not going to show this outrage because of a backup quarterback's not getting first team reps.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. No, I'm going to talk. What I want to see Sunday, going into the bye week. I want to see a good competitive game. I want to see them win.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see them win and have 3 wins going into the bye week and then coming out of the bye week and playing the Jets.
That would be nice.
That'd be nice. But I want to see them build off of what they did last week. That's overall what I'm looking for. What are you looking for?
I agree. I want to see him keep building. One thing I know for a fact is Quinshon Judkins should never have less than 20 carries in any game. Yeah, I mean, he had 25 carries, 84 yards, 3 touchdowns. Didn't have the greatest average yards per carry, but I don't care. He ripped off a 46-yard run in one play, so he didn't,
Yeah.
But that kid. Did you hear the comments he made? The Browns. This past week they were at a kids, like a Halloween thing for kids. So some of the players showed up in costumes, and I think they did some walk and stuff. And they were talking to Judkins. It's a 4-point game, by the way. 4 minutes, a little over 4 minutes left. But they made a comment to Judkins, and he's like, "I love Ohio. I love Cleveland. And I played my football in this, whole time in this state, and I love this city. I'll die for this city. I want to, and I.
Yeah.
I mean, fans are gonna love this kid.
Yep. They drafted him. They stuck with him. Everybody that wanted to get rid of him, remember that last August.
Well, right off the bat, you heard the issues. I mean, part of that's understandable. You're coming off the Deshaun Watson thing, and then you're like, what? He had mind you, he's never had a history or any other prior of any of this domestic violence ever pop up. There's no red flags for him like with Deshaun or whatever. But I think just coming off that, and you're like, really, this is a guy you invested heavily in, and this happens. And then to make matters worse, if you remember, because a lot of people thought, hey, I know my impression was in this draft, I would love to see the Browns walk away with either Henderson or Judkins from Ohio State in that second round. And they got Judkins, and they had their pick at the time. They could have taken either one. Well, Henderson, the very first time he touched the ball in New England for preseason is on a kickoff. He took out 100 yards for a touchdown. And you already heard people saying, we made the wrong pick.
Yeah. Because he wasn't even now think about this. The Cincinnati game would have been a lot different if we had him throughout training camp in the preseason and running and carrying the ball 20 times in that game.
Absolutely. So
it would have been totally different. We would have beaten them by 10 points.
I want to see him be competitive. I just pulled this up. So New England's 5-2. They're 4-0 on the road. They're 1-2 at home. So
interesting. Yeah, I know they lost to the Pittsburgh at home.
Yeah. So I like you. I want to see him build. I want to see this offense. The defense is, for the most part, it's been pretty solid. I want to see this offense continue to grow. They're healthier. I think everybody will be back except for Jones. We know Jones is done for the year, DeJuan Jones. But you said Conklin should be back. I think Njoku.
He's questionable, and Aiden Hutchinson's questionable.
Right.
There's only 2 guys that are questionable, which is 50-50. But I don't think Hutchinson's going to play because he has his concussion protocol. He has to clear that. So
okay,
maybe Njoku, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah. So I want to see it be competitive. It's a winnable game, like I said before. Which New England team's going to show up? The team that lost to the Raiders or the team that beat the Bills?
Right.
They're young too. Not many people expected them to do anything this year outside of New England. It was Buffalo's going to walk away with the East, and that's it. Maybe actually Dolphins. I think some people thought the Dolphins would, probably.
No, that was way off. Jeez.
Yeah. So, I want to see. So, but I'm positive we're coming off a win.
Yeah, we're coming off a win, and all the people thinking we were going to be, 1-16 or something, which isn't going to happen. So,
yeah,
there's games that we can win out here.
No, they've got like we said. Well, I know we like to do it. I pulled this up before, but imagine, if you will, if the Browns can beat the Patriots.
Okay.
You're coming off a win off the Dolphins. Now Patriots. That's 2 games in a row. You go on a bye week. Get everybody that's on the border of getting healthy. You come back and you play the Jets, who are awful. That could potentially right there could be 3 straight wins. Then you play the Ravens at home. I'm assuming Jackson's going to be back by then, but who knows what state they're in. It's a home game. That's a winnable game. Then you play the Raiders after that. I mean,
Then
you
got
very
San
well.
Francisco here.
What's that?
We got the 49ers here.
Yeah. And then Titans after that. But I mean, just those, first guy, starting with New England, the Jets, the Ravens, and the Raiders. All 3 of those games after the Patriots are very winnable. That could be 5-game winning streak.
San Francisco here is winnable too, believe it or not. It is.
Yeah.
I think it is. And then after that, if I'm not mistaken, we have Tennessee here.
Yep.
Then we go to Chicago.
Yep.
Then we have Buffalo here.
Yep. Pittsburgh's after it here. And then we end with the Bengals in Cincy.
See, okay. The Bengals and Cincy is probably a winnable game too.
And who knows what state they're at?
Yeah, who knows what Pittsburgh's going to be like too with the second last game of the season? Who knows? Buffalo might be a different story as well. You don't know.
No, so I mean, this is a big game here with potentially rattling off a bunch of wins, and man, I mean that would be awesome. Yeah. And then, like I said, I don't have Pittsburgh's schedule for me, but I know they haven't really
tough. They got it tougher. They got a lot tougher.
Oh yeah.
So we'll find out what they're made of. Yeah, and we'll find out. Well, I mean, I'm not saying we're going to win all these games, guys, but we can rattle off some wins here. We got potential to do so.
Right.
And I was saying that before the Miami game. I was saying, guys, there's games to be won. I'm not saying we're going to the playoffs. I'm not saying we're going to go to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying we're winning the division. I'm just saying there's games to be won here. And I think, and I even asked this before we go. I want to pick your brain on this. I asked this to John Suchan, not your broadcast partners, John.
Yeah.
I asked him. I said, how many games do you think Stefanski has to win to keep his job this year?
I remember he said I think 5.
He said 5 or 6. I was around 6 or 7.
I figure at least 6. Technically, that's you've doubled your wins from last year. But on a quick side note, Lou, I just pulled up Pittsburgh's schedule real quick.
Go ahead.
They play the Packers this week at home, but Packers
Sunday night.
They play, in my opinion, maybe the surprise of the NFL, the Indianapolis Colts.
They're a good team. They went out to San Diego and whooped them. I was like, what? I'm not saying Los Angeles, excuse me.
Right.
I still call them San Diego Chargers.
But for those that want to rip on the Browns and letting Baker go, and, it's debatable, was it a mistake or whatnot, whatever, at least you're not the Minnesota Vikings. They had Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones on their roster last year, and look at both of them are having phenomenal years this year. So they let 2.
And the Giants let Daniel Jones go mid-year.
Yeah.
Oh, don't forget this. Sam Darnold also was with San Francisco. He was also with the Panthers.
Yep. So was Baker. I mean, Carolina went both and let Baker and Sam, and look, there's that group of guys that have this revitalization, and Daniel Jones, a double whammy, because they gave him the big contract, and most people thought, well, great, we gave Jones all this money and he sucks, and Barkley ended up leaving and going to Philly because we couldn't pay him, and then they ended up letting Jones go, and now they're looking to see how good he's playing. But just look at this for a second. Steelers are playing Packers at home. They play the Colts at home. They have to go and play the Chargers, who they're a playoff. They're better. They play the Bengals and the Bears. Winnable games, but then they still have to play Buffalo. Mm-hmm. They play the Ravens in Baltimore. Mm-hmm. They do have the Dolphins. They still play the Lions, and they still play us, and they play the Ravens again. Besides the Dolphins, maybe the Bears.
Maybe the
Bengals. That's only 3 games. Every other game, those are playoff caliber, division leading, in some cases, teams. So
it's 126-120. How much time is left?
I'm on a commercial break. I think you're a good 20, 30 seconds always ahead of me. I'm on streaming it on DirecTV.
104.
104, and we're up to a 6-point lead. But in basketball, a minute's still a long time. So, but I mean, Pittsburgh.
Hey, speak for yourself. All right.
If Pittsburgh,
It's 1 minute. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
no, I just the Browns, if they can put together some wins here, all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, they're right there.
And I tell you
Pittsburgh,
what, and you don't know what you're going to get from Flacco is a wild card. I mean, he
yeah,
gives you good games, but he also gives you crap. I mean,
yeah,
we've lived it, we've experienced it. I
mhm.
mean, you also, I mean, Baltimore just got hit riddled. I mean, not just Lamar Jackson. A lot of guys on their defense got hit with injuries
Smith,
too.
yep, they
Roquan
lost a lot of
Smith,
guys. The
they lost
corner,
a
yeah.
lot of guys. Yeah, their corner. So yeah, it's 38 seconds and personal foul. Okay,
Oh, you're
I
way
got
ahead.
it
I'm
in
at a
there.
minute in the game.
I got well. I went to the Yahoo Sports app, and I think it's a little bit faster.
Okay,
I
I
got
stream with direct TV stream. So
okay. Yeah, I had it on my Spectrum app before when I was watching the actual game itself. But yeah, there's a lot of football to be played.
yeah,
That's I think that's the whole point we're trying to make. And guys, hang your head and kick rocks all you want. Trust me, there's so much that goes into this. I think because I think Steve Gill, one of our colleagues,
mhm,
he was saying that he has a source inside the team that's saying Stefanski's pretty safe, but he's still expected to win games,
right.
which I think any coach would know that they have that expectation. So I think people are trying to get engagement and controversy and find things to talk about, which I understand. Like if you have a 2 or 3 hour show, you got to find things to talk about. You got to keep people engaged. Or if you're doing an hour podcast or you're trying to get things going, I understand that. I don't do that. I'm just not going to do it. So I'm not criticizing you for what you're doing, but I'm seeing what you're doing. I'm
I'm
just
going to
pointing
be
it out.
honest.
What's
Since
that?
our,
Yeah,
I'm going to.
I'll be honest. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm going to be honest right now.
Go
To get
ahead.
our podcast some likes, I'm going to start. I'm going to start doing that stuff now. We need to
Do
build up
whatever
an
you want.
audience.
Do whatever you want. You can do your
No,
show however you want.
I'm with
I
you.
don't
I'm
care.
not
I do the
gonna.
show. I do my show the way I want.
I don't
You
play
do
that game. I some of the local. I think sometimes it is total clickbait.
well,
You see, it's
and
like,
it's everywhere. That's
oh
everywhere.
yeah,
I'll never forget my first year in North Carolina was 2011. I moved there in February. The draft was in April. I was driving around Raleigh. I was listening to Carolina sports talk. A lot of it is basketball, ACC basketball.
sure,
But which is pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty cool. The fans, depending on who you talk to, who's a fan of NC State, Duke, or UNC, and it's pretty cool, especially during March when they do the March Madness stuff.
mm,
But when the Panthers had the number 1 pick in that draft, and that morning it came out they're taking Cam Newton.
hmm,
You should have heard the calls. People
really.
calling in complaining that they were taking Cam Newton.
Well, yeah, Auburn. Where's Auburn? Is that in Georgia? Or
Auburn's
where?
in Alabama.
It is in Alabama. Okay, so yeah, that probably went up.
They were complaining, saying we could. Well, why are we doing that? You know, they had some other guy that was a 2nd-round pick the year before. Why are we taking this guy? We already have a quarterback. We got a young quarterback. We don't need him. We
Is
should
that
take
Jimmy
somebody else.
Clausen they took?
Jimmy
The
Clausen.
the Notre Dame
Thank
kid.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're up by 5 with 8 seconds to go.
Oh, we're on the
127,
same thing.
127.
I just took a quick peek, and that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Commercial, but yeah,
At the time, Cavs just called the timeout. I'm just seeing here.
should be their first win, 1-1, and
But
then
it's just interesting to me. People were complaining, and it's like, God, it's like you just think it's only in Cleveland, and it's not.
yeah,
It's just the way. I mean, and that Carolina, the Panthers play in Charlotte. They don't play. Most of the people, football fans in Raleigh, North Carolina, were Washington fans.
really.
At the time, they're the Redskins. Yeah, because the Redskins were like that. That was the team. Was the
Okay.
Washington Redskins down there. Yeah, a lot of Redskins fans down there. Yeah, in
Oh
Eastern
wow,
North Carolina. Yeah.
interesting.
Which was
Okay.
fine. But then again, in Raleigh, there were so many transplants from other cities. There was different people. Like you'd see a Bills banner, you'd see a Bears banner,
Right.
you'd see a Lions banner. It's just you just see it. You know.
Well, I have a good buddy of mine. He's originally from South Carolina, and them not having a football team, his grandfather somehow, for whatever reason, was a Tampa Bay Bucks fan before it was cool to be a Bucks fan, and that's been his team ever since a kid. I joked with him at first. I'm like, oh, it's because you won a Super Bowl. He's like, I liked them when we had Vinny Testaverde and those,
Oh,
the original uniforms, which I still think are pretty cool. But yeah, the Carolinas, they didn't have their team. So interesting about the Washington. I never knew that.
yeah, that was interesting. But another thing too is people that say the Browns are dysfunctional. We have the same group together for the last 6 seasons.
Yeah.
Probably going to be together next year, especially if the way things are going to go. I think they're going to go.
Mhm.
And the dysfunction to me is what Tennessee did. Okay, because their second year, what's
getting
that?
rid of Callahan.
Get rid of Callahan the way they did. It's a mess. Okay, fine. But then you're seeing it with other teams. If you go back 8 years, the two worst teams in the NFL were the Giants and the Jets. Going back 8 years. You go back 10 years, it would be us, Giants, Jets, because we had that 1-31 run.
Well, I think the Browns are trend setters myself.
What do you mean?
Prior to who is it, Chudowski? I don't think I'd ever remembered a coach being fired after 1 year. It really, most coaches usually had a few years, but wasn't he one of the?
Chudzinski was one of them. Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah, I mean, prior to that, they always gave him at least a few years.
Yeah.
And Callahan, he had just over a year.
Yeah. Well, the way Schefter described it was the owner is impatient. Titans owner is impatient. Yeah, it shows. Yeah. I think.
Well, a lot of people were talking about, hey, he's gone. Will Callahan come back? And I didn't realize this at the time because I was thinking, too, that'd be great if he did. But he resigned. So with him resigning, he can't go work for another team. Had Tennessee fired him, then it's free game. You can do what you want. But he resigned, so, he can't just go.
So when his son was fired, he quit.
Yeah, He's like, which makes sense. You just fired my son. Why am I staying? But because he resigned, he can't just come and sign with the Browns. There's more to it. So, which I didn't realize because, like many others, I'm like, man, I'd love to bring him here, bring him back home. But, so we shall see. But no, there's some optimism. As we like to say, there's a gleam.
There's a gleam.
The schedule is a favorable schedule for us. The worst of it's over. Now, for me, it's how do we produce after this? We've kind of hit the bottom here this year. Are we making the turn and seeing that light and be like, okay, let's build on this and keep going? Or is this, hey, you just beat a really, really bad Miami team at home, and now it's back to losing and turmoil and, everybody and their mother's going to get fired and blah, blah, blah. So, I want to see how they respond.
I want to see what they do, especially after that. Wouldn't it be interesting if the Bengals lose to the Jets this weekend?
Oh yeah.
Looks like
who's the Jets? What's that?
It's a final 131-124 Cavs.
I just switched over. I think. I think the baseball game World Series. I believe it's 2-2. If the score's right. Sometimes when I change
middle of sixth inning 2-2.
It is 2. Okay. I have on this when you get to the channel, it'll show the score as you click on it, but sometimes it's not, especially like a basketball, it could be a little different by the time you get it on. So
it's the middle of the sixth inning.
Any predictions about Sunday? Wins, loss? No,
I don't like to do that. I don't really like to do that. I think. I said with Miami it was a winnable game. It can be a winnable game. They could win. Mm-hmm. I think Vrabel's going to have them ready to play. They're well coached, and we'll see. We'll just have to see. I just like to see. Here's an opportunity to see what this team can do after a big win like that. Because I think they played. I hate to say it like this, but it reminded me of how Ohio State came out against Tennessee.
Okay.
Do you remember that in the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
When I'll never forget because I remember Buckeyes fans because there's rumors there was going to be filled with Tennessee fans and
I remember that.
We're going to lose. And people were saying, "Oh, I don't care. Oh, you could blow us out and everything." We went out there and we just kicked the shit out of them. I mean, we did. And I was watching the game and I'm going, "This team's playing angry." You can tell they were mad from that Michigan loss. And I'm going, it reminded me like something was said, something was done. Okay, we're here to play hard now. It was like they got the kick in the butt from the coach and the leaders of the team, including Myles Garrett. And it seemed like I said, maybe this is the turning point, and they start playing better. So my prediction is I think we're going to play better than we did in Detroit, better than we did in Pittsburgh, and better than we did in Baltimore.
I hope so. I don't care who you are. You hold an NFL team to 6 points. It's a damn good day.
It should have been 3.
Yeah.
Because that was a BS penalty they called on us to give them that field goal.
Yep. And how about, I know we didn't talk about it, but, so far, it's 2 games into his, young career. But Tyson Campbell with the pick 6, huh? He's fit in nicely with this defense, which makes sense.
He's a better fit. For
Everything
defense.
I heard and read was that he is more of that man-to-man style, which Schwartz loves, and Newsome, who was having a good year this year, is more of that zone fit.
He fit Jacksonville's defense better than Campbell fit their defense.
Right.
It was kind of like it was a good pick swap. It was a good trade for Ben.
And you got him signed. It's either 3 or 4 years. I mean, he's in the exact same draft as Newsome. I think he went 6 picks later. He's like the first pick in round 2. He's bigger. He's 6'1", and forget the interception, the pick 6. That was great, but the play that really impressed me, and I heard him talk about it. I finally heard it today.
Down the running back.
Yeah, and that kid was fast. I forget his. He caught him, and then in turn held them to a field goal. I mean, that was an easy touchdown. You thought touchdown all the way. By him running and chasing him down, they ended up settling for a field goal, and that saved them 4 points right there. So hell of a play right there.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's a good player.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. Like I told John, cornerbacks are going to get beat. But I like the early so far what I've seen from him. Mm-hmm. And one last thing before you head out. Did you see the Bernie Kosar, that NFL Films, what is it, Journey from Adversity to Football Legend?
I saw parts of it when he was talking about how he didn't have fun. I just watched it earlier today. It happened. I think I caught it on X or somewhere. It's just 20 minutes of the show itself, no commercials. I knew most of it, but to hear it from him, everything he went through, wow. It was, I highly recommend anybody who hasn't seen it, take 22 minutes and check that out. It is pretty interesting. And love me, Bernie. Oh,
love
of course.
Bernie.
Yeah, Bernie's a good dude. He's a good dude.
Might have been growing up. That was kind of my wheelhouse. I was a teenager then. He was probably my favorite Browns player, there for a long time.
I was always an Ozzie Newsome guy. I always was. And a Clay Matthews guy. So, guys, hey, thank you for joining us. Just a little programming note. No show next. There's taking a week off, bye week, and it's Halloween. So I'm going to announce that on Friday. There's not going to be a show. Should be back on the 7th, okay? November 7th. So we're taking off the bye week, and we're going to take off Halloween. I appreciate each and every one of you. Steve, thanks for coming. I appreciate you.
Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it. Always have fun hanging.
Absolutely. We always have good conversations. Thank you for engaging with us. Thank you for coming in and watching. Always remember, when the river burns, it burns brown and orange. Play the music. Your call is important to us. Please hold.
First time I did our show with the other platform, I forgot to hit live. It's playing in our ears, but it wasn't playing on the studio thing. And then when I rewatched it later, I'm like, there's no music. It's 2 idiots doing this for nothing.
We're like the guys at the night at the Roxbury.
You're right. 2-2, bottom of the 6th.